This is day 14. We have 2 days left. So we talked a little bit about packet tracers. I have submitted all of the PT solutions. If you need to go back and check any of those, and that's under files in the curriculum. Important part is understanding, what they're trying to do. And we've had a lot of students say they've really helped with the understanding of the curriculum. We also talked about how important it is to reflect on the work in the packet tracer rather than just get it done. That's why we have those follow-ups for the chapter and all the assignments. So a student does some reflecting. The key is what we're learning. You can have an education and do this, this, and this, but the important thing in reality is what you learned. In this 4-week period, I thought the students' progress has been excellent. Whether you think you've come a long way or not, I think all of you have come a long way. You still got a ways to go to fully understanding for some of you maybe, but talked a little bit about the labs. Students said not being able to change the labs to match exactly. Yeah, that is an issue. Okay, adjusting up, causing you to think, that has some value too. So both of these are pretty valid comments. It'd be nice to be on site so you can see the hookup and so forth and set it up just as the labs are to work. One thing though, sometimes if you get to be too driven in just doing exactly what the lab says, you may not learn as much. The comments are really important, and that ties back again to the reflection. Okay, this progress, seeing where you can move forward, and do you have the skills? Not just knowing the content. Okay, initially not all the networks were working, but I believe they were by the time we got done, or pretty close to it. Connectivity, okay. In the world of networking, we're better off being proactive than just reacting to issues. And then if we do a good job networking wise for the networks, typically they'll function really well. And then the other thing though you need to be conscious of is security. And so we covered that layer 2 security and wireless. And then the test on that, students did really well. We didn't have any questions on that. So yeah, we talked about learning using the whiteboard, online, hybrid, and some combination of those. Issues, you don't get that collaboration of working together, and people have internet issues. So sometimes it's hard to keep a group on track remotely. And in talking with businesses, they have the same thing with some of their workers. Keep them focused on what the group was working on, and it wasn't like they said they weren't working, they'd just get so wrapped up in one piece of their work they would miss what they're doing in the group. So today, routing, layer 3. So key things in routing, IP addressing, and what routes, static or dynamic. The addressing goes on the interfaces, and the interface on each end on the same network, you have another interface that's on its own network. So troubleshooting, when I would look at a router, I go interface brief and I look at it, and first of all, if it's up and up, what layers does that take care of? 1 and 2, okay? Not layer 3. Now you can look to see if there's an address there, but this takes care of layers 1 and 2. Okay. Just a couple other troubleshooting things. The native VLAN 99. Yeah, we're talking about, being down. It wasn't allowed on the trunk. So here's our layout. So we talked about, I don't need to review all this, but we have our connection coming in here. Then the router here, a routing device decides which way the traffic goes. We have the firewall. And then we have internal network here, DMZ here, and we have a DMZ2 there. Now within here we have VLAN 31, this network, we have VLAN 20, this network. So just an example, we had one of the routers connected to VLAN 20. We had this end router connected here, and then that would be Jacob's router there in the end, and this was the router with the workstation. So this one was 30, this one was 31, this one was 32, and we had those groups of 4. I think these guys were the blue, and these over here were the pink. We talked again about access in, distributing information, and then the core, sending that information between all these links, simulating that. Obviously they're in one room. Addressing on the layer 2 switch, just an IP for management. We added the extra ones just for testing. So default routes out, a static route in. So syntax is in the curriculum. You can look at this network, this mask is going to this location. This meaning anything that doesn't match any other routes, go to that location. And then we can put an administrative distance on the end of there to create a floating route using that administrative distance. And we did a demonstration of that in class. The students' networks are all stub networks, so static addressing makes the most sense. Static address pointing down in, a default address pointing out. Key things: your addressing and how your routing is working. So what we added here was the students initially configured IP version 6. They configured a 64 to start with, and then they did this configuration here, and then we configured a /80. Well, we didn't get quite that far, and we'll finish it tomorrow. We'll configure a /80 and switch our addressing, which then gives us 64 to 80. That gives us 16 bits to make networks, to make our own networks. Talked a little bit about routing protocols. Router RIP, a dynamic routing protocol, compared to static routes. And so we did that comparison, and we mentioned OSPF. And that is it.